So this wine that I'm going to be making shortly, the idea is that I make something not necessarily high percentage, but I wanted to have both the flavors of elderflower and peach without them being too strong. I'm going to make them in little bottles and make it fizzy, just as a nice little thing to have on a summer's day. That's the plan. So I'm going to drink my coffee, then we're going to set up, and then we're going to see what happens. Coffee is good. Hello homebrewers, and welcome to my channel. So today I am doing a video using cans. Awesome. So I challenged myself to see if I could make a wine, a half decent wine, for under £5 for a gallon. Should be interesting. So because I challenged myself to make a wine for £5 or less, and a gallon of that, I kind of had to cut some corners. So instead of using fresh fruit, because that works out more than £5 for what I want, I went for sliced peaches in light syrup to make a peach wine. Now, I could have just bought loads of peaches and made a really strong peach flavour, but I want this kind of light and bubbly, and I've also got myself some free elderflowers, which is pretty cool. Now I've got myself express wine yeast compound. It's got the nutrient already in there, it's got bentonite clay, and it's got the yeast that will ferment. Now, all of this so far has set me back £1.30, £1.50, £2 and 80 pence, which is pretty cool. Now I'm going to be brewing in a bucket because I'm fermenting on the pulp, which will give you more of a peach flavour and hopefully more of an elderflower flavour. Now I got this for free because I went to a catering establishment and asked if they had any spare mayonnaise tubs, because they are food grade plastic. Don't brew in just anything, it has to be food grade. So I've got that over there being sterilised in a solution of bleach and washing up liquid. Now the washing up liquid you pretty much have in your life or in your house. The bleach that I use is Tesco value thin bleach. That sent me back 39p. So £2.80, £3.10 for everything being told. That's pretty good. Now I've got myself a piece of PVC pipe, which I'm going to be using for siphoning off the liquid once it's finished. Now I bought a length of that, I think it was 60p a metre. So we're well under the £4 mark. So we're going to get started into this and see what it turns out like. So before we begin doing the peachy stuff, we've got to do the elderflower part. Now I've got myself around 12 heads of elderflower that I need to separate from the stalks. The stalk, the less of this stuff you have, the better it tastes, basically. Supposedly every part of an elderflower bush / tree is poisonous apart from the flower heads. Now if you get a little bit of the green, it's not going to kill you. It's just large quantities because this is all fresh growth. So I'm just going to cheat this time, and I'm just lightly going to pull the flowers off. La la la. And I'm just going to keep doing this until I've stripped all the flowers off. Pretty cool. I'll see you once I've done that. You're still here. So I have finished pulling off the heads of the flowers like some type of sadist. Now I've got 400ml of flower heads. I could have got up to 500, but some of them didn't want to come off, and I just, if they don't want to come off, it's fine. Elderflowers are free. I could always add more to it if I wanted. The more elderflower you have, the more elderflower taste you're going to get. Now because we're brewing in a bucket and I'm going to be fermenting on the peach pulp, I don't want to add these elderflowers directly to it. Instead, I have boiled myself a kettle, and I am going to add the boiling water, which kills off anything that's in there. Smells like elderflowers. And as you can see, it's instantly turned yellow. Now I am brewing a tea in this, so I'm now going to put this in my fridge overnight, and I will add this in without the flowers tomorrow. Awesome. So I'm just going to put a tea towel over this and let it cool before I put it in my fridge. So while we're leaving the elderflower to steep in its juices and make a lovely elderflower flavour, we're going to handle the peaches. Now, I'm pretty sure with what's on the back here that I could ferment this without having to heat it up to drive off any preservatives. But I'm not going to take the chance because this is a recipe for, you guys. So I'm going to add this step in. Better to be safe than sorry. So we don't need to have anything sterilized currently because the heat that we're going to apply to this is going to kill off anything that's on the spoon or blender or pan. Heat. It's awesome. So it's fairly straightforward. Open up the cans, dump them in. So lovely peach bits that have already been processed, so it saves us time of having to peel it and dehusk it. So in they go. Lovely peaches. So I've got half a litre of boiled water. This is just to speed up the process of it reaching up to temperature. Put that down there. And now I'm going to go ahead, before it gets too hot, and blend up the peaches. Because, well, we want the pulp. Just going to let this come up to the boil, and I'm going to just keep it there for around 5 minutes on a simmer. This will drive off any preservatives that could possibly be in here and make fermenting a lot easier. So be back once that's done. So this has been basically simmering for 5 minutes just to drive off any preservatives that could be in there, and it smells good. So each can of peaches holds approximately 400 ml of liquid, including the solids. So that is 1.6 litres of lovely boiling hot magma. So I've got my rinsed mayonnaise bucket / fermenter. So I've got to take into consideration the 1.6 litres there and the 400 ml of elderflowers that I'll be adding in tomorrow, which I'll do off camera because, well, there's no point making a video just to add that in. So I'm going to be adding some ice cold water to this so it evens out the temperature so I can pitch the yeast quicker. So I've added in 2 litres of cold water. And since we're brewing on the pulp, that's why I'm using a bucket, I can just dump this lovely liquid in. Look at that prettiness. Not bad, since this has already been sterilised through heat. Mix it all in. So I'm going to leave this to cool for a few minutes just to bring the temperature down very slightly. Still very slightly warm. I could pitch the yeast, but it's a bit warm. I'll be back in 10 minutes. So the time has passed. It has cooled down now, which is pretty cool. It is pitching temperature. But I thought I would check it with a hydrometer. It is an extra step and it kind of takes you over the £5 mark. But at the same time, if you don't have one, you can follow this recipe pretty much exactly and you will end up with the same results. So I didn't include it, but I have one, so I'm going to use it. So currently it is sitting, because I had to strain off the solids, sitting at 1.020, which will only give you about 2.5%. So I've went and measured out 200 grams, slightly over, of plain old white sugar. Now I could have avoided this if I used more peach, but then I thought it would be too peachy and not enough elderflower, so c'est la vie. I thought it could happen, and it did. So I've got this in my lovely jug, which was sterilised. I used it for putting some glub in there. And I'm now going to add some boiling water, just a touch, just enough to dissolve it, because I've still got, well, there, and I can go up to about there. So about a litres worth of liquid. So I'm just going to add a splash of boiling water to dissolve this, and then I'm going to mix it up and take another measurement. Here we go. The reason I'm using as little as possible, even though I do have a good head gap, is because I've got to add in the elderflower tea tomorrow, which is, you know, cool. So our sugar has now been dissolved in just under 300 ml, so plenty of room to spare, so in this goes. And since this was sterilized, I can wash it out with the lovely glubby glub. Right. Get a good reading, stirring and aerating. So since I had to go sterilize funnel, the jug, sieve, that's the word, and a cup to make sure I got an accurate reading, I just didn't film that bit. So I've got the hydrometer back in our liquid, which has been strained, so at least I can take a fairly accurate measurement. And it is reading right at the 1.038, which is somewhere around 6-ish%. But when we add the elderflower tea later on, it will bring it down to about 5.5, which is perfect for what I'm after. Something light, something with a little bit of flavour, a bit of zing, a bit of sparkle. Perfect. So now I get to pitch the yeast. So how does this taste? Just on the peach. Oh, that's good. Nom 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 nom. Tastes like a non-alcoholic Bellini. Just enough peach to get the flavors, but not too much, so it's just peach. So when I add the elderflower in, this should be perfect. In theory. So pitching the yeast is pretty simple. Just going to open it up. Yeah, we are at the lovely temperature still. You take a teaspoon, preferably sterilized. I boiled mine because, well, boiling it is great because it not only heats the spoon and sterilizes it, it also dries it. And then I'm just going to put in my teaspoon of powder, or all of it. In you go. That's just done. So all I've got to do later on, / tomorrow, is sterilize the sieve and strain the elderflower juice / tea into here, and then I'm going to let it ferment. So I'm going to put that into the part 2 video because, well, yeah. So we'll be back once this is finished fermenting. It is done now. We have made sure everything is super sterile. Bit of OCD never goes amiss. That way you don't really have to mess around with it. There's no real infection in there. The only infection that is in there is the one that we put there on purpose, which is the yeast. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Join me for part 2. Don't forget to comment and check out the other videos, and of course subscribe. And of course, carry on homebrewing. See you later.